Hey, good evening. I'm really happy to have you here. My name is Daniel, I was a professional opera singer and beatboxer, and we're gonna be doing something just a little bit different tonight, where I'm solely going to do the analysis of Dan Vasc and Dragica performing Andrew Lloyd Webber and Nightwish's rendition of Phantom of the Opera. So the reason why it's not going to be a reaction and analysis is because I already filmed the reaction and analysis to this video, but unfortunately the data was corrupt and destroyed. So I'm refilming this piece, but because my reaction wouldn't be authentic, I'm just going to focus on the analysis. And I want to take the time to appreciate your consideration as we make our way through this video. So I'm excited to jump back into this analysis, and I hope you are as well. So without any further delay, let's just jump into it. Immediately. First off, the track they're using is awesome. But her voice right here, it's lyric. It's light, it's high, her vibrato is very consistent, and her phrasing, just in this first phrase, is lovely. In sleep he sang to me. It doesn't feel choppy, it's very smooth, and it matches her voice very well. And it's so lovely having this very light lyric voice complement this very rough and rugged metal accompaniment. It's really good contrast right there. In sleep he sang to me, in dreams he came. I like the way that she said dreams. In dreams, instead of in dream. Adding that brightness to the E just further emphasizes the contrast between this dark overtone of the accompaniment with how soft and benign and delicate this beautiful lyric voice is. Oh, it's such a great contrast. I love this sensation. Oh yeah, and to comment on her dream, just adding that brightness complements her voice very well too. In dreams he came, that voice which calls to me and speaks my name. I love the fact that she is just clipping on those ending consonants at the very tail end of the note, really stressing these vowels and allowing the vowels themselves to shine. Yes, I love that so much. And speaks my name. But instead of holding on to the most pure form of the vowel, it feels like she's extending the vowel by closing it over a period of time and then clipping the consonant on the very tail end of it, which isn't the classical technique, but it doesn't need to be because it's her own style of singing, and I really, really enjoy it. And speaks my name, and do I dream again, for now I thought. Ooh. For now I, instead of going I. Yeah. Just using both of those notes as a way to change from the beginning of the diphthong to the end of the diphthong, where a diphthong is where you have a single syllable sound like two different vowels. Like I would be open ah, e, I. So if you were to perform this classically, you would hold on to the ah throughout both of the notes and then clip the e on the end like you would a consonant. But here she utilizes both of these notes to go from ah to e to further emphasize this constant sense of movement in her vocal line, let alone the accompaniment track itself. And I really appreciate that. Also, I am picking up some of her natural accent in whatever native tongue she speaks is coming through a little bit more. And I know nothing about this vocalist, but her voice is lovely, obviously. And her vowel manipulation is quite unique. I can't quite pinpoint where this dialect comes from, but who knows? Maybe I'll hear more of it and be able to pinpoint it. Ooh, love her placement there. The fan. Yeah. So with me, if I were to perform it, I would make it a little bit more round and robust, but that's just because it's my own voice and that's what makes me happy when I sing. So if I were to perform it, it would be the fun instead of the way she's doing it, which is wonderful. The fan. Personally, I just like darker tones. It works better with my voice and it makes me feel good when I sing. But with her, making the vowel a little bit more bright, allowing it to come through the mask a little bit more direct. The fan instead of and yeah, with how light her voice is, having a little bit more of a present and direct energy through her vowel placement and the vowel manipulation with how bright or dark she is making these vowels. It's a really, really good mix, and she makes herself known in the way that she's singing, but not too overbearing, not too directly. Her voice and the accompaniment are just matching each other's energies very, very well, and I really dig that a lot. Really great vocal line there, just being right dead center in the middle of the pitch while arcing this line. And by arcing, I just mean that the entire line didn't feel choppy, each note didn't feel segregated. It was just penned all the way through the end of the musical cadence, and it was lovely. Want to listen to that one more time. I got the word mind. I wish I heard a little bit more of that D at the end, but that's just me really nitpicking. It was really well done what she did there.
Sing once again with me, our strengths to end.
And in contrast to her very lovely lyrical voice, now we feel much more grounded in this strong phantom presence where his vibrato is strong, his support feels very foundational, and just the tonal center of the piece, while hasn't completely shifted because the accompaniment is the same, the atmosphere of the piece has changed with this new vocal line coming in, with this new melodic line, with a new voice type or Vasc, a new register, a new timbre, just all of this is coming together to have a new stark contrast from Dragica and the accompaniment with Dan and the accompaniment, but now we can compare Dan with Dragica and the accompaniment. And all of these contrasting elements just fit so well together, and I really do appreciate just how both of their voices both mesh together well. They have their similarities, but also have enough of a difference to make the piece that much more compelling. And it's just, Dan selecting Dragica for this cover, I'm assuming he did, was such a wise decision.
My power over you grows stronger yet.
And just observe how big he's making these vowels, where even though Dragica had a few moments where she allowed some of those vowels to open up a little bit, throughout the entirety of her performance and the camera angle specifically on her face, you see how not necessarily closed her mouth is, but how her vowels didn't really explode or become very big, where Dan absolutely is, really emphasizing this contrast between both vocalists, and it's so nice.
And though you turn from me to glance behind.
Oh, that's such good musical theater technique, just having that straight tone and then letting it blossom into this beautiful vibrato at the end of the sustained note. Oh yeah, dude, I want to hear that one more time.
And though you turn from me to glance behind.
Yeah! Oh, that beautiful tone on fan! Just having that beautiful open bright sound, but still not make it so nasal like but just really allowing so much space so it doesn't become too nasal, but just allowing that very bright vowel to fully fill up the room and not be over aggressive in its direct confrontation of the presentation of that vowel, if that makes sense. But wonderful execution is what I'm saying. And again, like Dragica, beautiful calligraphy or penmanship on that vocal line. Just everything felt so smooth and connected. Yeah, dude. And it's really hard to do that on notes that are so exact going down. Really good stuff.
Phantom of the opera is there inside your mind.
Yeah.
Those who have seen your face, your back in fear. I am.
Yeah, you could just see that her vowels aren't quite as explosive as Dan's are, which just further contributes to this beautiful contrast and gives us a little insight into their characters. Very expressive stuff here. I love it.
Your back in fear. I am the mask you wear.
It's me they hear, my spirit and your voice in one combined. The phantom of the opera is there inside your mind.
Yeah. So in this moment, I'm going to say that their voices don't necessarily match up well. It just doesn't sound like a strong unison where their voices and vibratos and natural timbres really match up well to create this perfect musical sound. But that being said, when you have two completely differing characters, especially with this raw and coarse accompaniment, I really don't think it needs to be a perfect unison. I love the fact that both characters have their own style of singing, have their own unique sound to their voice, and express that earnestly, honestly, and authentically. And if that means that it's not going to sound musically like the most perfect unison, so be it. And I love that. I really, really do. I think when you are expressing a piece of music that is active storytelling, storytelling should come first. I'm not saying that the music should sound bad by any means, and it absolutely doesn't here. I'm just saying that one of the biggest issues I've always had with opera is that opera singers hyperfixate on the music being done, where they completely ignore the grand storytelling that is happening. Or maybe not completely ignored, but it's not at the forefront. But there are some cases where it is ignored and it drives me nuts. But here, just having these two strong characters in their own right come together to present their music authentically in a way that truly makes sense to them as individual artists and tell this story. Yes. Yes.
Inside your mind.
Her voice is so delicate here. Oh, it feels like I'm being wrapped in this very thin veneer made of Egyptian cotton. Lovely.
In all your fantasies, you've always knew that man and mystery.
I love how she picks up on his musical line there. Yes. Obviously, it's the way the music was written, but again, just further emphasizing the stark contrast in their own authentic styles of singing is so great. With Dan, you get new, where it's very forward and powerful and big. And with Dragica here, you have new. And I just love both of them. It's so great. Ugh.
And a mystery. And in this labyrinth where night is light, the phantom of the opera is here inside your mind. Sing my angel music.
And something else I have to comment on too, aside from the outrageousness and incredible nature of Dan's scream slash belt here. Noticing Dragica's tongue is really impressive because the entire time it's just resting in her mandible. There is no tongue tension when she's singing, and that really comes through in her voice. You don't hear any tension or any resistance in her breath or in her support as she's singing. That's why it's coming through so delicately and purely. Where with Dan, who has this more intense, more loud sound, you can feel not necessarily a ton of tension, but you can definitely see it in the way that his tongue is moving back into his throat a little bit, gently pressing against his uvula, causing the sound to feel a little bit more constricted in this more intense big belt scream section. But yeah, I really love both of these contrasts, having this very pure, delicate, open sound with this more coarse, big, broad, foundational sound. They both complement each other very, very well. And again, still relaxed tongue position. Even on this more louder dynamic, louder volume, more intense section of her character, still very relaxed, still producing that beautiful, pure sound, very velvety. Ah, yeah, dude. Really great technique here from her. Yeah. So in this particular section, I'd be lying if I said that Dan wasn't a little corny here, where he's saying my angel, where he could be having a little bit of fun with the character. If you wanted to add a little bit more intensity, I think he could put a little bit more emotional depth into this instead of just saying my angel kind of feeling. But, you know, it adds character and I appreciate it. While I really love the tone and the approach and the technique used from Dragica here, I feel like she can have a little bit more growth or dynamic contrast in her phrasing here, where it just sounds very pure and lovely throughout this entire piece, but especially throughout this particular section of the piece where it's just being sung on one vowel, this open ah. I need to have more movement than just the accompaniment. In your voice, I want to feel crescendos and decrescendos, because even though your vocal lines are very beautiful and you're transitioning between notes very delicately and right dead center in the middle of the pitch, and there's a lot of movement in that, I want to have more of it. Like, this might sound a little too greedy on my part, but I just need more contrast. I need that growth and dynamic, and to show that you're really flowing with all elements of the piece that you can flow with, not just focusing on the sound quality of your voice, which again is beautiful and lovely, but just to have that growth in the volume, or maybe to play around a little bit more with the vowel manipulation, going from that open ah to o at some points, and just allowing that to be very expressive as well. Where I have seen gentle vowel manipulations in this section, which are very lovely, I would like more of that, and I would love more dynamic contrast as well. And Dan, I love the execution of your spoken dialogue here. Personally, I would prefer a little bit more emotional depth. But you know, it's fine. It's fun. It's really fun.
Sing my angel.
Her vibrato faltered there a little bit. And one, I do believe that that is because she is nearing the highest point of her range. So when you typically reach your lowest end of your range or your highest point of your range, it becomes very difficult to control vibrato because your vibrato is fluctuating the pitch up and down. So when you're approaching the lowest or highest parts of your range, it's very difficult to incorporate vibrato because you need to go even lower or even higher than wherever it is that you're at performing a note, consistently spinning that breath, fluctuating that pitch like that. So it is very difficult. So it would make sense if that on this high note here, she just did a straight tone and allowed it to taper off, or she had vibrato in the beginning and then made it a straight tone, the opposite of growing into a vibrato, starting it and then tapering it into nothing, where it becomes a little bit easier to maintain the note on a straight tone and let it taper out as the breath becomes not unstable, but it's definitely not as strong as it would be if you were performing a more comfortable note within your range. So I'd say the execution of that note wasn't necessarily perfect, but I can still respect the technique and the support that went into executing it, and ultimately I still think it was well done. Oh, that's the end. Yeah. Both of their voices just complement each other so well, and the accompaniment track was stellar. Everything in this piece just managed to really work well together, and I really, really dig that. This lovely, benign sound quality in Dragica's voice, this coarse and strong foundation in Dan's voice with this grounding accompaniment, just all of these elements working very well together. Yeah, I had a couple of criticisms, but honestly, in terms of the overall execution of the piece, I think it was really well done. And this is coming from someone who is absolutely 100% burnt out from Phantom of the Opera music. I performed a ton of it in high school. I was always exposed to it. And when people find out I'm an opera singer, people are constantly asking, oh, can you sing Phantom of the Opera? No. First off, Phantom of the Opera is not an opera. It is a musical. And I've said that before, and I will keep preaching that. And the second thing is that I've just heard it so much throughout my life that it's... And I've performed it so much throughout my life that I'm just so tired with it. So if someone is able to perform it and still keep me engaged with it and have me be at the edge of my seat wanting to figure out more about their own voice and their own take on it, then I think you've done a really great job executing it. And that's exactly what happened in this video. I think both of them did an exceptional job performing this piece in a way that is really rich and authentic for their own voices and their own characters as people. And honestly, really great job, guys. I really, really digged it. Thank y'all so much for watching this video. I'm sorry it wasn't the typical reaction like it normally is, but I did my best here and I really hope you enjoyed it. If you guys liked it, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And if you didn't like it, please leave a dislike and let me know why in the comments. I do read all of the comments, even if I may not heart or reply to all of them, so just know that your comments do not go unnoticed. My live streams are currently Thursdays at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so if you guys would like to stop by and say hey, or ask any questions about myself or the channel, I will absolutely be there for you guys. I want to take this time to deeply appreciate all of you for being here watching these videos. It really does mean a lot to me, and I can't wait to see all of you in the next video. Have a great rest of your evening, everyone.